Down through the eternal history of the Libyan peoples, the beauties of hand craftsmanship has always been the invisible trademark of the country's industrial production. Old skills, handed from one generation of supple fingers to the next, have been the nation's heritage. In the Islamic school for arts and crafts, these trades were taught, and today still are. For there is no substitute for the loving care of craftsmen in the creation of those things which are beautiful. But in the world today, this is not enough. What is needed is to retain the ideals of the old craftsmen and translate them to the speed and efficiency of modern production methods. The realization of this came quickly to the Libyan government when the day of independence came, and immediate plans were made to organize the new nation's industrial development. In these plans, the Islamic School for Arts and Crafts still held its place. Indeed, it has been expanded and others are to follow. Hand craftsmanship must not be left alone to die, for it is the natural basis on which large industries are built, industries which maintain the national reputation for quality production. By maintaining the Islamic school tradition, the government has shown its determination to foster the old crafts, while at the same time creating a modern industrial capacity. To widen its scope, new departments have been added to the old establishment, and the work of training the young in basic principles and instilling in them a pride of achievement goes on. The coming of independence, welcome though it was, brought with it many problems for the Libyan people. Greater productivity had to be achieved. Commerce and trade expanded if the country was to enjoy a progressive standard of living. Government policy was aimed at providing the sort of industrial advance that would ensure the strength of the national economy and so contribute to the prosperity and well-being of the country as a whole. So today, there are tax concessions to investors at home as well as overseas. Loans for development are granted, and there is direct state participation in many enterprises. But above all, development must be orderly. Haphazard progress does not endure. There must be laws to regulate the development of national industries. There must be laws for their organization and ordered progress. Industrial centers must be established. And banks provided to finance the operation industry. The success of any industrial development program is always reflected in the balance of trade with other countries, and its seaports are the mirror of its progress. Libya, as an oil-rich land, has many natural advantages, advantages which the government must turn into an orderly march of progress. Power must be provided for the upsurge of industry and agriculture and to keep pace with the rise in living conditions. The plan is to make electricity available throughout the country, and there will be financial incentives to encourage its wider use. There will be power enough to supply the new factories, power enough to keep the wheels of progress turning. These new factories are fast becoming a feature of Libya's countryside, the direct result of the government's enlightened policy towards all those who are able to add to the country's industrial power. Amendments have been made to the law to encourage foreign investment, for it opens up new fields for the employment and happiness of the Libyan people. But factories in themselves are not enough. There must be people trained in the science of modern manufacturing to operate and oversee them. To this end, the Ministries of Industry and Education have set up many establishments for technical education to prepare better men and women for the era of mechanization which lies ahead. But here again, the traditional skills of the Libyan people are not forgotten, and the making of carpets is one of the subjects covered by these establishments. but it is in the turning wheels of the factories and classrooms that the future really lies. These new technical institutes are fully furnished with all the equipment necessary, both mechanical and scientific, to teach the students to a standard which will ensure an occupation productive in the new Libya. The heavy machines of industry need understanding and servicing, and in the years to come it will be the Libyan people, trained and equipped for their work, who will do it. That is the intention of today, and it will be the achievement of tomorrow. The new industries need experts in many, many fields, and only a comprehensive overall plan can weld the multiple pieces together to produce a composite and successful whole. It has always been the policy to make training facilities available within the country itself. And while it is still necessary for many students to be sent overseas, Libya's own resources are being expanded enormously. She is now producing her own designers and draftsmen. When Libya became independent, money was scarce and opportunities few. The discovery of oil and the wise development plan, financed largely by its revenue, has made the country one of the richest and most progressive in Africa. But agriculture still remains the main source of livelihood for the Libyan people, and new markets have been sought and found for its products. Methods of bottling and preserving have high priority in studies at the School of Agriculture. Here, the method of making marmalade is being taught. The sale of dairy produce, both at home and abroad, has risen enormously in recent years, and the techniques of separation and butter making are considered essential for any Libyan about to make agriculture his or her profession. To preserve the old tradition of quality production, even in an age of mass production, constant testing is employed, and samples are checked by centrifugal separation. In 1962, the College of Advanced Technology was established. It offers 5-year courses leading to Bachelor of Science degrees in food technology and civil, mechanical, and electrical engineering. The 50 students who made up the original intake were the first ever to be able to undergo a complete degree course within the country itself. They are the vanguard of a great new army, an army technically equipped to advance into the electronic age. This comprehensive plan for education and training is producing the workers, technicians and scientists which Libya's development demands. Nowhere else in Africa is such ordered progress apparent. The investment program of the 5-year plan totals nearly $500 million American, of which over 108 million is to be spent on public works. So, knowledge of civil engineering is essential if Libya is to win the battle to make itself less dependent on the outside world. As in all development programs, it is the people themselves who provide the key to success. In Libya, there is no shortage of the right human material, and the government, by providing the training facilities necessary, have made them an integral part of progress. Things have moved far since 1951. Henceforward, the infinitely delicate tracery of ornamental brassware will stand alongside the products of the machine shops. The phrase Libyan industry will no longer convey only the patient detail of hand-sewn leatherwork. It will mean goods of every kind, goods made by modern methods, but still bearing the hallmark of craftsmanship and quality with which the words "Made in Libya" have been so long associated. But the new factories need the raw material which agriculture can supply. The citrus groves of Libya have long been famous, and now their product finds its way into modern plants making goods for home and overseas. Here, knowledge gained in the small marmalade plant at the Technical College is transferred to full-scale manufacture, and the age-old skill of the men who tend the trees is transformed into a saleable commodity by the machines of the 20th century. Only the highest quality can be accepted, and the new chemists and laboratory technicians are the final judges. The country's olive groves are playing their part in the mechanization of agriculture, and from their precious fruit is drawn the oil with which the whole world cooks. As the tempo of production rises, the intention of the original plan becomes apparent. It is to make the best possible use of the raw materials which the country itself possesses, so that all may share equally in the rising prosperity. Fruit growers, farmers, technicians, scientists, clerks and manual workers, all must benefit in the success of the new Libya. Whether it be tomatoes or beans matters little. Each product, each worker, each student is part of a carefully thought-out plan to increase the nation's potential in every field of endeavor. The higher standard of living is mirrored in the increased sales of the state's tobacco monopoly. Much of the leaf is being grown locally, and the machines are busy all day catering for the enjoyment of a population with money to spend. Every fruit and vegetable which the land can produce has its counterpart in the processing side of the General Development Plan. Beans are ground into flour. The discovery of oil meant a tremendous amount to Libya, but the revenues from it could so easily have been allowed to waste. By investing the capital in the development of the country and the training of its people, the government has laid a solid foundation for the future stability of the economy, and so shared the benefits over all areas and all peoples. From beans to flour, and from flour to the batter for making biscuits. A perfect example of planned production. Here again it is modern machinery which takes over where the farmer finished, turning his humble beans into biscuits, fine enough to grace the most discerning table. Yes, everybody is sharing in the country's progress. The people of the towns and factories, and also those who live in the outlying villages, those who gain their living from herding small quantities of livestock and getting in the fruit of the tall palms.